Mrs. Rankin, well, good to
Here.
see you. Mr. York?
Here.
All right. All right, any question regarding the minutes from the last meeting? No questions? Minutes were all good?
Minutes were good.
Good.
Good? All right, motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis? Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, we have John Scherpenberg's report. Thought John was going to be here tonight, but apparently not.
They might have forgotten that we were starting early.
Starting early.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sure at 6 they're just gonna come pouring in here.
okay. Well, you've all looked it over. Any thoughts, any questions? I mean, it's fairly straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yes, okay. And you all will notice that the fountain at the square is now tarped over.
Yeah, what's that? What's going on there?
Well, we had to drain it, and it has to be dry, because we're gonna get the new liner in there.
Okay,
For the time being, it's tarped over everything. I think the bowls are gonna come down so that they can be cleaned, and it'll be a lot easier for us to, it looks kinda bad right now. It'll be easier for us to tarp it over that way. So, I'm just pointing that out in case somebody's
I did have someone ask me.
gonna ask, yeah. All right, Tax Administrator, Mr. Chuck Barlow's report. Comprehensive report, all well put together, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck.
Any comments you want to make?
We just kind of did them.
Yeah, I think we're
Any other
okay.
questions?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, anytime anybody has any questions or anything regarding it, obviously call directly. All right,
No Rod?
well, I think the
Oh,
time
right, again.
thing's got him
They'll
a little.
come in here.
We'll all be gone.
Yeah, we'll be out of here. Yeah, let's hurry it up. Well, anyway, you can see his report, it's been kind of a busy time, and we do have a lot of activity going on at the moment. Rod is staying right on top of it. All right, we have the email from Ed. This is regarding I think this is it the third correction of the
Oh, right.
one
This is an
tax levy resolution?
Increase in anxiety.
Yeah. We will be passing that resolution here in a little bit. If you have any questions then, we can,
At this time?
yeah, we can do both now.
Okay.
Okay. Where's the other one? Did we lay it on the desk? Here
I did
someplace?
lay it on your desk.
Okay.
What
Here it
are we
is.
doing?
Oh, I've got it. All right, we have two spending requests. One is for the clock that's in front of the exemplar. I've been going back and forth about this for well over a year, and I think we finally sort of come together with an agreement as to what we're doing, what they're doing, kind of a thing. The contract is with
Burden.
Verdun, Verdun Company. The total repair on the thing is gonna be about $17,500. They are gonna send a man out to help us disassemble it. Our guys will take it then to their shop, and when the work is completed, they will bring it back and reinstall it. And I think that's obviously the best way to go, because, if we're taking it down there and we scratch it, there's no big
Yeah,
deal,
you
because
don't
we're gonna
want
fix it. And, putting it back, I think, is gonna be a little bit more precise than taking it down. You went over and looked at the electrical and the foundational base of the thing, is that correct?
From what I could see from the outside.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm very happy that they would be doing the reinstall, because I'm not sure if we could put it back up.
Okay.
I couldn't get access to the bolts to see how rusted they were or
Yeah.
not, so.
Yeah. Well, I think once, obviously, once we get it out of the way and we can have a better visual of what it's there, if we have to do any additional work at that point in time, part of the arrangement is to hook up into the foundation of the thing. So, I mean, as it appears right now, we're good, but like I said, once it, we can only see what we can see because it's standing there.
Yeah, once it's removed, if you give me a call, I'll come back
Yeah,
out there
we'll
and
come
look
back
at
and
it.
take a better look at it then.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, if we have to change out some of the bolts or something, it's not really a big item, but that would be our responsibility.
Is that it? So the 17,544, is that, that's the total cost and National Exempt are gonna reimburse part of it, or
All of it.
all of it?
No,
or-
they're reimbursing that amount.
Okay,
You know,
but the total cost could be more, is what I'm.
Well, I mean.
Potentially.
Potentially, like I said, because we can only see what we can see.
Right.
Kind of a thing, the condition of the wiring and the bolts and so on and so forth. But I would think that, let's assume that they do need a little work. Yes, that would be on us.
Okay.
But I don't see that as being a big expense.
Sure.
Given the total repair here and what we're actually getting out of this, the clock's been sitting there for what, 20 years? It really needs an update.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we've been talking about it for years.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, yeah. So
So,
we're-
no, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So if there is other stuff that has to be dealt with, you'll have to come back and ask for additional money for that? I'm just wondering if you should ask for more, just to go up to, how sometimes we do that, we say up to something amount with, this is how much the exemplar is gonna reimburse us for?
Well, I mean, if y'all are more comfortable doing it that way, personally, I don't see it being a major expense, but,
I actually couldn't hazard a guess to give you a contingency amount on something like that without seeing it first. So it would just be a complete guess.
Okay.
If it's 5,000, 10,000, I don't know. I would think we can reuse the foundation. That's probably the biggest problem. If the foundation is rotten from the inside and we can't see that until they remove the clock, then we're talking a new concrete foundation for that thing, which probably could run us, $5,000, $7,500. But I couldn't suggest that to you right now because I can't see it.
we would have time, though. I mean,
Yeah. I'm just
the
wondering if
clock's
you-
gonna be away for a while this
Okay.
is going on.
Okay.
So we would have time to do an inspection, to make a determination if we need to do something, and then actually do it. And by then, I could have a cost estimate and come back to council
And
and
just
ask.
re-update this number then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would go beyond our time, so, if I
Yes.
may. So the Verdon Company, they're taking it away.
Well, we're the ones that are actually taking away in our truck. They're gonna come here, though, and help us disassemble it and load it into our truck to take away.
So when do they take possession of it, as far as the contract?
Well,
Is
I
it
would assume
when
when
it
it
gets to
ar-
their shop, or
yeah.
when it gets,
When it
Right.
arrives at the shop is what
Okay.
I would assume.
so we'll know, once we pull it out.
Yeah.
What the condition is.
Yes.
Now, will they reinstall it, or do we
No,
have to?
as I said, they are doing the reinstall.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, there'll have to be a crane involved in that, and a little bit more care and patience will have to be taken, because, it'll be freshly repainted and new glass and everything, or lens on the front, I would think. I'm correct. Yeah.
I would like their opinion of the foundation as well, if they're gonna do the
Yeah,
install,
right.
so
Well,
they could probably tell us.
They will have their guy out here, and like I said, once we lift it off, he'll be there, you can take a look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, so that'll be our
Okay.
first indication.
Sure.
So we're confident we have the resources to do it ourselves,
You mean
To take it
to
out.
take it out ourselves and not harm it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But they will supervise that. Verdon, okay.
Randy, it'll come out, that's the thing, it'll come out in pieces. The clock mechanism that's on top, I believe, comes off.
Yeah,
So we're not talking about, something that's extravagantly or excessively heavy. A couple of guys, hey, me and you, I'll go over there with you if you
Oh,
want.
my God, I want to watch that. Hey, I remember when we spoke on Friday, there was a question as to who actually owned the clock, right? I didn't,
Yeah, it is a Village of Mariemont clock,
it is.
yes. And it sits, on Village of Mariemont right-of-way or our property.
Right,
Yeah,
but we own the clock as
yes,
well.
yeah.
I believe that's on our liability insurance.
Oh, thank you for answering my next question.
I think it's on the list.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So then we're all good with the 17.5? Okay. Well, let's combine,
Gonna take an official vote?
Do we have to vote?
well, I was gonna combine, you wanna take a separate vote?
Yes, please.
Separate vote.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, a motion and a second then.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Excuse me. Aye. Dr. Lewis, Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Well, I got a little phlegm, I'm sorry.
know.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right,
Oh,
the
you
second
could have been
spending
here earlier.
request. Oh, you're choking me up, Rob. What can I say? Second spending request revolves around the police car issue. We've been having nothing but difficulty acquiring, another new police car, which we desperately need. We had one on order from Ford, and that didn't work. And then we switched to a Chevy to a Tahoe, and now we're being told that we probably won't get that car until the end of the year, if ever. So Chief has been actively involved, talking to the dealership. Particular dealership has found another car. It's at a Texas dealership, and they want an additional $10,939.
That's rounded up to 11.
No, let's round it up to $11 for this car. And I'm assuming, Chief, I know I've asked you this, but confirm it, that's shipping to get it up here as well.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's what it'll cost to get the car here to the lot.
And it is a Tahoe.
It is.
So just to confirm, that the amount to ship is included in the 11?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Because I noticed when I look at the,
Yeah, he
Purchase
just-
contract, it
he
doesn't
just
call
put it
that
all
line
in-
out.
He just put it all in one, yeah.
okay. But we do have some documentation that shows that includes shipping.
Yes, that will be the total amount. And
Okay.
we're lucky, they actually worked really hard to find it, and it's, I just got a car back today from Beachmont Ford that had been there for 2 months, and we dropped another one off that should be out of our fleet, but it's not because we can't get our hands on cars. We just dropped another one off at Beachmont Ford for a repair on it. So the repairs are really getting expensive on a couple cars that should have been gone. So this car is basically the car that we needed to replace last year. And then hopefully next year we'll be able to replace this year's car and the car for next year, get us back to where we need to be. So everybody's in the same boat with trying to get police cars. It's still a mess, but hopefully once the dealership opens up the police bid, we can get right in early, and who knows, it could be 6-8 months after we order. But
So that's sort of the crux of our position here. If we don't do this and we wait for the order book to open, and the order book opens the first of the year,
Yeah.
correct?
yeah, we'd be 3 cars down and 6-8 months out from getting them. So
So we're
we
two down
desperately
right, we're
need
two
this
down
car.
right now, or?
We're 2 down now from what we should have. As far as there's 2 cars out there that should have been out of the fleet by now. But we can't take them out of the fleet until we can get our hands on new cars. So we desperately need this car. And then hopefully we can get right in and get the order in, and it won't be another year plus when we order again, hopefully. So, and I don't think it will be going, switching over to the Chevrolets.
So when we first had the conversation with, it was Joseph Chevrolet about having one here, did they?
No, they
put
never did have
together-
one.
They never put
They never
together a
had
purchase
one, they
contract?
never had one here. They never had one here. They ordered one for us, but Chevrolet has, once the order went in, they had stopped production. What the dealer, or the automotive business does is they produce the police package vehicles nationwide over a certain period of time. And once they shut that line down, they don't start back until the following year. So that line has been shut down, and they've been actively trying to find us a car, and they finally did in Texas. And it's virtually the only police Tahoe available in any Chevrolet dealership in the country. So
Do we have any idea, I mean, if we don't get this submitted as soon as possible, do we risk losing that car?
we
another-
could, but I think if you vote tonight and give me the permission to get the car, I think as of this morning, we still would be able to secure it.
We're
So,
gonna take the black one,
That's correct. That's correct.
and then we'll.
So we'll
order new cars,
transition
we're
in,
gonna
when we order
transition to
cars
black.
again, we'll transition into black vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess there's no way of knowing what the 2024s would actually cost.
They don't know. I asked that until the manufacturer opens that pricing up, we don't know.
So if we don't do this and say we want to gamble on ordering 3 cars the first of the year, we may actually be paying up for those cars.
Oh, it probably would pay more, yes, no doubt.
Because see, there's something, I gotta.
I don't
be
see them
honest.
getting cheaper.
Yeah, I don't see them getting cheaper. There's something about this deal that I'm just my gut, I don't like it.
Well.
I understand the need, and
I kind of have to agree.
And I know why it's more, because a lot of it is it's coming from Texas.
well, yeah, the guy knows he's got us.
Yeah.
He's got us in, you know.
So we have no
And
wiggle
it's
room.
supply and demand
We,
right
we,
now,
we
so.
have no hand in this whatsoever.
Right.
But he's telling us that's, you want it, this is it.
Have we done enough business with Joseph Chevrolet to feel confident they're treating us well?
We've done some over the years, but there's a lot of police agencies in the tri-state that deal with them. And actually, I personally know Mr. Joseph, Robert Joseph, and he has a great reputation in the law enforcement world as far as being very fair and very pro-law enforcement. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with the fact that, I mean, they've done everything they can do to find this car for us, so I'm very appreciative of that. But like I said, we're in dire need. It just pains me to keep sending bills up here. You guys see it on the bill list to repair these vehicles that should have been out of our fleet.
Well, then we'll be able to sell that, what is it, our number 3 car?
Yeah, don't expect us to get much for
Yeah.
it, but yeah, we will definitely.
Well, but I mean, it should come back all repaired.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Oh, okay.
And then in 2020, or so for next year, we're gonna order 2 more or 1 more, or?
I sure hope so. I had a conversation with Mr. Ford, and we were actually, Mr. Ford knew that we knew what our situation was, and he said, I can see you need 2 cars now, but there's just not enough money there because of the price increase. You know, we used to be able to outfit a car for, you know, just over 50,000. You know, that ship sailed, unfortunately. So if we could still outfit them for that kind of money, we probably could have pulled off ordering 2 cars, but we just don't have it. Hopefully, you know, his plan was to obviously try and budget to get us 2 next year, and that's what we would need to get us back to where we need to be so that we keep our fleet, you know, as we have for years, you know, 1 a year. But we're, like I said, we didn't get 1 last year.
Well, I
you know,
think we need
And
to,
we're halfway through the year this year. So,
I think we need to meet and take a good hard look at what our options are after this.
yep.
Well, I mean, any other thoughts, objections?
So this is all being made out of permanent improvement fund, right?
I think you found the money somewhere, right, from,
Some of it's coming from the alcohol education?
Yeah.
yes, we were gonna take some of that, yeah.
Okay.
We had planned on that
Well,
anyway.
it'll be 11,000.
Yeah.
It'll be on 2 separate, we're not gonna rewrite another purchase order.
But I think Richard put like 30,000 in for permanent improvement fund, and then the rest was gonna come from alcohol education, which has got plenty of cash.
So we're gonna have to.
The current cash in that balance is 48,000 or something like that.
And it grows every month,
Yeah.
so.
We talked about closing
I
out
hate
the
to
one
brand it
PO,
much, but
or just opening 2 new ones.
So basically, the alcohol funds pay
Right.
All right, so a motion and a second then,
So move.
unless there's any other discussion.
So move.
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight,
Aye.
Dr.
Aye.
Lewis, Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. York,
Aye.
okay.
Thank you.
Bill, do you need to get to the topics that need to get voted on, or?
No, because
We're okay.
Okay.
no.
So you want me to, well, I need to get the
Yes.
account numbers. Do you want me to sign it before I have the account numbers?
You can, but we'll need to get those in tomorrow.
All right, apparently no one's here. Permission to address council? Oh, please.
I wanted to give you an update and a recommendation and unfortunately a spending request for you on the Mariemont Connector project. So we did have our public involvement meeting, June 29th. We had that regarded 21 comments and 1 petition, so we have that. My recommendation now is to move forward with doing a survey of the area so we can get the geotechnical information to look at the comments and this information to see where we want to place the trail in that area. So it was $7,500 to have Choice One amend their agreement for what they did for us at the public involvement meeting to do the survey, and then we would take a look at that with the comments and come back with a recommendation to council. So the spending request would be $7,500, and that's just the survey. There would be more money allotted for the actual construction drawings when we got that far. So about another $23,000 I think would need for the construction drawings.
But that would ultimately be reimbursed out of the ODNR grant?
Correct.
Yeah, kind of thing. But we'd
That's
have to-
75%, 25%, with 25%
But
coming
we would
from-
have to front the money now.
Correct.
Yeah. And this, as I understand it, Chris, this is just basically to do measurements.
Right.
Yeah.
A survey, right?
It's a survey, yeah. It's a field survey of the area. We would go from the north side of Hiawatha to the south side of the sidewalk of Rembold. So we'd have that entire area surveyed to know exactly what we've got, how wide the streets are, how
Yeah.
wide the median is.
Right.
So we can look at all kinds of options for that area.
Okay, okay. All right.
All in,
So
yeah, the survey would happen in 2023 for design, or for construction in '24.
would the 23 be this year or 2024?
Oh, the funding?
The other, yeah.
The funding's let's see. I would think it'll be '24 funding, but I'm not sure.
Well,
Do it to pay it this year?
yeah, so say that are we paying in 23 all of that? Or is we paying 7,500 in 23, and that other 23 to 24,000 would be paid by us in 24?
So we could get reimbursed in '23 for 75% of that cost.
The 23,000 you talked about is, you're planning to do this year also, right? The actual
That's
design.
the design.
Design's gonna be done this year.
Sorry, yeah.
And then we can get reimbursed still this year from ODNR as well. 'cause we got the
Exactly.
grant now.
Yeah, as soon as we pay Choice One and they clear the check, I can send it up for reimbursement from ODNR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you actually think they would have the construction documents before the end of the year?
Possibly.
Possibly? I
Possibly.
mean, I know originally I was being very optimistic and wanted that so that we could, start the bidding process, and get somebody lined up, to start construction in the spring. But I know I was being, a little optimistic and so on and so forth,
Right.
but,
I mean, we'll look at the glass half full. That's still the best way to do it. If we can get design done in January, December, January, and put it out in the market in January.
Yeah.
It's the best time to get a price to build it in
Exactly.
April.
right, so
I
that
thought
was,
that was,
that's-
my thought.
for it anyway.
Exactly, yeah, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Hence, that's why I bring it to you, because we couldn't get the survey done, and we'd be like 3 weeks before the guys can get in the schedule. But if we want it done, which I think we do, I just need the authority.
Okay, and then I know sort of an integral aspect of all of that is when are we going to do the study regarding the intersection at Miami, Lytle, Hiawatha, Rembold, the big intersection?
Right.
Where are we with that?
So there was a request for proposals for that. They are due back on Friday. So I specifically asked Choice One and Kleinger's for a price to look at that intersection and give us evaluation. So we will have that on Friday.
Because I think we all agree that, we are going to have some very, very good answers about that intersection before the first shovel goes into the ground.
Absolutely.
Yep. And that comment came up at the public involvement meeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay.
No.
surprise.
Yes, there were a couple of, yes.
And there are a couple other ones
There's
too.
a couple of
but-
inquiries about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. All right, Chris, well, let's see, then we need a motion.
So I move that we allocate $7,500 for Choice One for survey work for the Mariemont Connector.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Ms. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
all right.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, seeing no one else in the gallery, I'm assuming there's no one else to address council. All right, motion, well, any question regarding the bills?
I had a couple questions.
Sure, sure.
I know this came up a couple years ago. Are we keeping a separate track of all the stuff related to the farmer's market? Because I see here we have a musician that we paid. And I know this came up, as far as the impact on the village. So
Ye-
down,
Oh, yeah.
under miscellaneous, $200 for a musician.
Yeah, I see it, I see it, Well, I know that,
I think there is an expense line that was supposed to.
I think
be
there
paid
is
for that,
a-
wasn't
I thought there was
Jody?
too.
well,
Remember
the
that?
revenue-
I know there's a revenue
line
one. I
too?
thought there was
mean,
an
it shows-
expense one too.
I think
Yeah,
there
because
was-
all the, all the fees to have your booth there comes, that's paid to the village. Yeah,
And there's a
so-
separate line item for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is that?
So I guess, do we need
there
to
it is.
establish a expense department for
Farmer's
farmer's
market?
market? Just so we can,
Know where we are.
yeah, well, it may come up again, so.
Okay, okay.
Can I ask quickly, what's the
Oh, there it is.
threshold for establishing a fund?
So a fund's different than an account.
Yeah, right,
So, and
understood.
actually, I'm looking here, there's a revenue account and there are two expense accounts for the
Okay.
farmer's market.
All right,
Where are you in this?
No, I'm in, Allison sent me a 6 year-to-date stuff, so,
Yeah, it's
There's
not
an
an
active-
account, it's a line item, is what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's an advertising for farmer's market and then supplies and materials for farmer's market right now. On expense side, and then on the revenue side, there is a separate line that's called license and permits farmer's market.
Yeah,
So that's also
Yeah.
broken out separately.
okay,
So we should be able to your point, Randy, we should be able to see
all right, good.
yeah.
what that is.
And then I had a second question, the Davy tree removal to Sheldon Close. I had a resident from East Street, he came up to me and said, Randy, I hear there's heritage trees being cut down in Mariemont without any authorization. So I guess I just wanted to say how that all happened, that I assume that came from the park board?
Yes, it came from the park board, it also came from conversations with the residents over there, and then it also came conversations with Davy. Those trees were, the one big tree that was in the middle, which I'm assuming is what they're calling the heritage tree, the big
But
pine.
I don't know, he said his girls climbed on it, but I couldn't see him climbing on it. You get all sticky and fine.
Yeah, it would be all prickly.
So I guess so there was no public meeting or any public
No, there was,
communications about this at all, and that's, okay.
Yeah.
And that's not necessary.
well, I mean, the tree was deemed basically to be, it was deemed to be leaning somewhat, it had been leaning for years.
Well, there were two trees.
There were two trees. Well, I'm talking about the big tree now, that probably that's what he's talking about is a heritage tree. The other tree, I know the tree you're talking about. That tree had a bad fork in it, about 10 or 15 feet up, where, very prone to splitting and high wind and so on and so forth. Both trees were essentially deemed to be dangerous, in a wind.
Okay.
I mean, that was just, all I'm saying is that was part of the conversation.
So, it's fun, because I don't ever remember us talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And then it happens.
Yeah.
And not to say that, maybe that's how things work, because, the tree, the Park Advisory Board can make recommendations and you can just do it.
Yeah.
I just think that when we do stuff like that, I think if we could do a little better communicating with people, that it's happening and it was planned, it was budgeted for, and there may be community input, there may be folks that didn't want that to happen.
No,
I doubt that.
well, no, actually, I mean, Randy, there was sort of a bit of a miscommunication over there among the Sheldon Close residents. It seemed as though some were very much in favor, they wanted those trees out of there, and then others seemed to be, under, I don't know, maybe not, kind of a thing. But then, of course, it's always after the fact, you go over and you communicate, that I found that out, basically. But it does seem that I don't want to speak out of school here. Probably the majority of the residents wanted them removed. Because we went ahead and we removed all those taxus bushes, around the end.
That was way-
But it does seem reasonable that we could at least inform the people in the, on the street that that's gonna be happening.
Well, I think they were informed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were informed.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the truck pulled up.
They were, yeah. Well, no, I mean, we're laughing. I think it happened a little more quickly than they thought. Kind of, Davey had an opening, we seemed like we got a really good price, and it was like, yeah, let's do it, kind of a thing, so.
Was this budgeted for, or just come out of?
Well, it just comes out of the tree, the amount of money that we have budgeted for tree maintenance, removal, we have a,
Care.
Well, John has a budget.
yeah, for that,
Stuff for
yeah.
tree
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it was good.
Should we excuse Susan?
Oh, Susan? No.
Is it movie night?
Yes.
That already happened. We
Oh,
had
that
like
happened
40
with
meetings.
Emilio and, okay.
Oh, yeah, that was Friday night. Yeah. Emilio and, yeah, Martin. So, that is over.
That's
Thank goodness. Thank you.
screenshot this to him right now.
See you, Susan.
Yeah.
Are you guys passing notes?
Yeah, we're passing notes. Yeah, you're out.
Fine.
It's a secret.
Let me get my, let me get my stuff.
Yeah.
If you like Kelly, check the spots.
All right, any other question regarding the bills?
Nope, not me.
Okay. Well, then a motion and a second to pay the bills.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis? Mr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Yes, all right. Pay the bills. What do we have? We have
The report.
one report. Public Works.
Public Works.
Do you want to read it or?
Shall I read?
Please.
The Public Works and Service Committee met on July 5th at 2 PM. In attendance were Committee Chairperson Kelly Rankin, Committee Member Rob Bartlett, Committee Member Randy York, and Mayor Brown. Topic for discussion was to determine whether to proceed with entering into an energy aggregation program by Energy Alliances for village residents. As a reminder, Energy Alliances is an independent energy broker and consulting firm that provides comprehensive energy procurement for businesses and communities. This program would be an aggregation for village residents. There are both electric and gas aggregation programs. This requires a vote of council to put it on the ballot for residents to vote on whether to participate in the program as a group. The consultant for Energy Alliances will hold public meetings to provide more information on the program to residents after the election, should the ballot pass. Energy Alliance attended the May 22nd council meeting with a presentation of their program. That presentation is attached. The committee recommends placing both the electric and gas aggregation programs on the ballot. Legislation will need to be passed on an emergency in order to submit to the Board of Elections by the August 9th deadline. Respectfully submitted, Kelly Rankin Chair, Rob Bartlett, Randy York members.
All right, you've heard the report. Any discussion?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
You are correct.
Sorry.
No questions from me. No questions?
No question? Yeah, Randy?
No, I just, and you may comment on this, the big thing is that everyone opts, the residents, if they vote for it, have to opt out.
That is correct.
But the reason we're getting the rates that we're getting is because it's set up that way.
Right. Yeah, if you do the opt-in program, the rates are higher.
And again, this particular group, these individuals are fairly well-structured and put together. I think, they're aware that there's gonna be a certain resistance by certain residents who are gonna be asking, why do I have to opt out, kind of a thing. I believe they put together, a good, I don't call it a program, but a good media something.
Communication, yeah.
Communication, whereby they make the understanding the process of opting out as easy as can be made for those who wish to opt out.
And I think if we have people, a significant number of people asking questions, that Dan and Maria would be more than happy to answer those questions at any point in time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, no, we're not gonna talk to anybody till it passes the ballot. I don't think that
No,
they act in that manner.
yeah.
And then you consulted with some other communities in
Yes.
the area, and they were really pleased with
Yes.
this program.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, given electric rates and so on and so forth, it's worth, it's definitely worth. Yeah, and like I said, if you don't want to, you're not forced, you don't have to, there's an easy way to say no.
Liberty Township, Green Township, There was a whole list on their website. Those are the two that come to mind right now.
Yeah. All right, so a motion and a second to adopt the report.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
I wasn't at the 22nd meeting of the 22nd, so I missed that presentation. So I think I should abstain.
Okay. Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, that report will be accepted.
That's for an emergency.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you, because it was 3.
No, we can do it. No, we can do it, yeah.
Because the majority of people here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to do emergency, we need all 4, but just to accept the report, we just have the 3. All right, we don't seem to have anything miscellaneous, other than I want to make a comment. I want to say that the past 4th of July fireworks this year, I thought were exceptionally good. We had a tremendous turnout. Chief and I estimated anywhere from, say, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 people were there, especially once the fireworks got started. It was a good show. There was a good crowd. There was no problems that I'm aware
Well.
of, you know, kind of a thing. So I think it was all good.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
It was a good
all
show.
Yes.
Did we get, how did we do on donation?
Next question?
Well, but if it gets to the point that it's not, then we have to rethink it, I guess,
Yes.
right?
A very valid
Yes.
point.
I would like to say that donations this year were not running quite what they were last year, but of course, I mean, obviously, we're more than happy to still accept donations, especially we can put it toward either next year or the past year, either way, you know, kind of a thing, because the fireworks are getting more and more expensive.
It was like $60 is what we got? I'm looking at the revenue.
Yeah, and,
6-0?
60.
yeah, I think,
What- that-
We had
I'm
some-
just, I'm
what
looking
was
at,
it?
We had some more come in this, that probably
oh, that was
will,
through June, yeah.
Yeah,
that will reflect in
yeah,
July.
they came in, yeah.
Good, good.
How is everybody?
Dan, good, how are
We
you?
came up with a
Wait,
good way
We have to
to.
recognize him.
Oh, hi.
Assistant Fire Chief Dan Copeland, yes.
This is about the fireworks. We're working with the company to save you guys some money next year on the fireworks. One of your biggest costs is having it transported to here by truck. We're already, the fire marshals have already signed off on it. They're gonna allow us to do the pickup and bring it in, so the delivery fee will be cut from your fireworks next year. Should save around $600 to $500.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow,
you.
oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd
Thank
be
you.
Good
great.
work, Dan.
Very good, all right.
Let's blow some stuff up. Oh, look who's here.
Yeah, it's 6:30.
He's actually early.
Oh, all right.
You're actually early for
Right.
what would be a normal meeting.
Yeah.
You're sitting on the bride side? Bride side.
We put off your commentary about your report, waiting on you, so.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, we went right
We're
from
almost
the
finished.
Yeah,
budget.
your
We went right
timing
from the
is
budget
impeccable.
meeting into the council meeting.
All right, anyway, I just wanted to make those remarks about the fireworks. Like I said, I thought it was a very good year.
It was a great show.
All right, we have a number of resolutions, and, you know, they're all on emergencies, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me on this.
This is the first reading, adopting the budget for 2024 and to declare emergency.
All right, you've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved. Second. Jinx.
Wow.
Mr.
It
Bartlett,
wasn't either one of you.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
And may we have the second reading, please?
Adopting the budget for 2024 and to declare emergency.
All right, any discussion regarding what this is?
Yeah, we know.
No?
We know what it is.
All right.
Adopting the budget for 2024 and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett, Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to invoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Ms. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, that one will go.
Okay. This is the first reading to accept bid of MSD Incorporated to authorize contract and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York? May we have the second reading?
To accept bid of MSD Incorporated, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
Any discussion? Chuck, you want to give us a quick?
Quick rundown.
MSD, it's not sewers, it's HVAC. We got bids from MSD, Air Force One, not the plane, and American Heating. The MSD contract is going to be $1,832 a year, locked in for 3 years. Covers this building, HVAC, also covers the boathouse, because there's a furnace up in there, believe it or not. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
there's an old
Yeah.
furnace in there.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it
who'd have
covers
thought?
those.
No AC, just furnace.
MSD, what's unique about their offer, I shouldn't say offer, their proposal, when we call, we have a designated person that we call. We don't just call a dispatch. So
Oh,
If
cool.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning, we call this gentleman who actually lives right over in Fairfax and used to live in the village. So it's a unique thing. We don't have to worry about, oh yeah, we'll get somebody, we call that guy, he'll take care of it. The reason asking for the emergency is I like to get this signed so we can get in and they can do the PM on the air conditioners, because these units up here, I'm surprised haven't caught on fire.
Wow.
So give Dan some work. But no, so we can get them cleaned up and ready to go. Then they'll come in the fall, late fall, and take care of the furnace every year. Filters, they check all the equipment, very thorough inspection. We will get videos from them. Actually, we can go on the website, pull it down, and you can see, I mean, they pretty much start when they walk in. They'll talk you through, here's what's going on, here's what we need to do. Anything huge, obviously, they will talk to us about the expenditure. That's really all I got.
Yeah, I will say, let me add to that, I will say they did probably one of the most thorough reviews of our equipment that, with this kind of a thing that I've ever seen. From the minute they walked in, I mean, we looked at both, I don't know if I did. They checked the air handlers, they checked the way that the hot water circulates up through those, that's how we get our heat. Of course, they looked at the compressor units, we looked at the boilers in the basement, we looked at the bigger air handler in the basement, in the boathouse, we went up in the attic space up there and looked.
Yeah,
That
one
was
of the-
quite a- that was quite-
up there?
that was quite a treat up there.
One other thing with MSD, total mechanical contracting. Right now, this is HVAC, but they're trying to be a one-stop shop for everything. So if we would want to expand on security cameras, either at the bell tower or boathouse,
What,
wherever
the
they
down at the
they
tower?
offer that. They offer plumbing services, so they're pretty much full service if we would ever want to go that route, so.
Yeah, we would have that as a. we
So
would
we've
have that
never
as a
had a
tax.
service contract.
No,
Okay.
no, we have not. Yeah,
I applaud it, I think it's.
That's a great idea.
yeah,
You ready?
Good job.
yeah.
Thank you.
I lost my place. Maybe we have the third reading.
To accept bid of MSD Incorporated, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. That one's in.
All right, this is the first reading, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for current expenses and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and the third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
Resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for current expenses and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
Okay, we kind of, everybody understand this? We all good?
Yes.
Okay, may we have the third reading?
Resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for current expenses and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get it?
Randy?
Okay. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. A motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Moving along.
Okay. This is the first reading, renewal of 3.8 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
Renewal of 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, any discussion? We're all good on this? Good?
You guys
it
know
right
what
this
this is all about.
Third time's the charm.
Joni and I had to jump through 1,000.
See, this is what,
The last time we were here, we did exactly like they told us to do, and then 2 days later, they called up and said, oh, you need to do it differently. So we've done it now, and I got it all cleared with the lawyer for them and all that. So this should work.
Yeah, and I sent it back to him, and I never heard back,
So
so.
if it's on the agenda again next week, we know.
Okay, this is the third reading, renewal of 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
so moved.
Second?
Second. Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, all right, this is the first reading to convert and appoint village zoning officer Rod Holloway from independent contractor to part-time village employee, calendar years 2023 and 2024.
See, that was worth waiting for. No, no, you missed the other part.
All right, that's the first reading. We'll have the second reading next council. On
Is
to,
there a speech at some point?
do you want to, do you have something to say?
After, no,
No.
no
Well,
comment.
I'll make a comment. I know I say this every time. I mean, I cannot overemphasize just how pleased I am how well Rod is working out in this position. We are extremely lucky that, for whatever his reasons, he decided to take this job. So keep up the good work.
But not just this group. No.
Okay.
Good thing I wore closed-toe shoes. Marcy, you're gonna get it on you.
All right, first ordinance.
Okay, this is first reading, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental electric aggregation program with the opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4928.20 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
Wow, all right. Have first reading and motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and the third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Do I abstain from this one too, or you
We can't
Number-
pass it.
pass? Or
We
do you-
can't pass if you abstain.
All right, I'll vote for it. Yes, aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, may we have the second reading, please?
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental electric aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4928.20 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
All right, that was the second reading. Then any discussion? Marcy, did you have a question or?
There's a little light reading in the packet. Some good graphics.
Well, they didn't copy so well.
No, they don't copy so well.
No discussion?
I know.
Ready? Third reading?
Third reading?
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental electric aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4928.20 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
Okay. Motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. A motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right.
12 more to go.
Okay, this is first reading, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4929.26 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
You've had the first reading, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Second reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4929.26 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
Any discussion? This, of course, is just basically to give us the option to aggregate for gas.
Right,
Yeah, well, and this is actually just even put it on the ballot.
Well,
right,
yeah, but so that we'll have that, option.
right. So it'll go on as two separate items, electric and gas.
Yeah.
Same thing as.
Same thing, but yeah, it'll be,
Two, right.
yeah. Everybody understand?
Okay.
May we have third reading?
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to effect a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4929.26 Ohio Revised Code, directing the Hamilton County Board of Elections to submit a ballot question to the electors and to declare emergency.
Right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Well, that wasn't so bad.
I signed it.
That it?
Okay, anybody have any remarks about our task list
Not this one.
this time?
Joni's got the one.
Bob?
Adjourn.
We'll do those a second meeting.
Randy?
What are we talking about?
Task list?
Nothing.
Got any comments you want to make?
I did get a proposal from Donovan Energy. I've not reviewed it yet. So
From who?
I'll-
I'm sorry?
Donovan Energy on the EV stations.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, on the EV stations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got it right. I was gone all weekend, so I haven't had a chance to even look at it. So
Okay.
I'll look at it and I'll circulate it.
Sure.
We can all kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
they've identified the 3 potential locations,
Oh, that's
2
good.
primary locations.
Oh. All right, is that it?
Okay,
All right, we're adjourned.
thank you.
When you say it's at